everyone. Welcome to my science class today. Let me introduce a little bit about myself before I start my class. My name is Sujata Roy and I am connecting with all of you from Kolkata, West Bengal, India. So, you all are excited for today's science class? A little about my schooling and my academic qualification. I have completed my schooling from the BSS school and I have done my BTech in Chemical Engineering from Makhat and MTech in Material Engineering from IIEST Sirpur. So I am very excited today because I'm connecting with every one of you. Some of you may live in Delhi, some of you may live in Mumbai, some of you may live in Hyderabad and so on. And today what I will be teaching in my class, I'll give you a small insight on that. Today I will be covering the chapters of first water, and then if I get time I will come to the air and rocks too. I'll be covering grade 2 syllabus of EVS, environmental science. So all my friends out there, little friends of class 2, 3 and 4, I will start from the very basic. And after that, slowly I'll go to the advanced level. Let's see how long the class goes on for today. And accordingly, we will cover and I'll keep you updated in my next videos as well. Okay. So in the many of the ICSE schools, they only cover the air and water. But in the CBSE schools, they have the air, water and rocks as well. So first today, let me cover the water part. And then so on and so forth as the time goes and the video goes. Okay, let me share my screen today. Okay, so our first chapter today will be water. Oh my god, the color I think is not appropriate. Let me choose another color. Oh, let me choose violet. It's a nice color. I hope everybody will like the color. So it's water today that we will cover. Okay. Now, we all know that water is very important for all of us. We almost cannot live without water. So this is the basic necessity of any human being, rather to say of any living being. Now, we have multiple uses of water in our daily lives. What are those uses? We use water in multiple ways in our daily lives. In our daily lives, what we do, the multiple uses of water. So what is the first use that we do? We wake up in the morning and the first thing we go do is we brush our teeth. So we brush our teeth. This is the first important use of water. What is the next use of water? We use water for bathing. Next, we bathe and then we have our breakfast and then we go to school. Okay. Next, we use water for drinking. This is one of the most important uses of water. This is one of the most important uses of water. Always remember this, okay? This is one of the most important uses of water. Because why? Because without drinking water, we cannot live. So this is the most important use of water. Whenever in your question it comes, what are the uses of water? The first use that you are going to write is drinking of water. This is the first use that you are going to write. Okay. What is the next use that we use? Washing. Washing our clothes to maintain hygiene. So washing our hands, washing our clothes and so on. Next is cleaning. We need water to clean our surroundings, to keep our surroundings clean. Okay? We clean our utensils, we clean our hands. So cleaning and washing also are both same things. So if you are asked to write only 5 uses of water, so you start from drinking, and if there are other uses as well, cooking, watering plants, so you can write them as well without repeating washing and cleaning. Okay? Great. Okay, so I'm erasing this part so that I can write the next one as well. So we have learned that water is the most important thing in our life in order to live. Water is the basic necessity of any living thing's life. And what are the uses of water? We use water for bathing, drinking, washing, cooking, watering the plants. Yes, I hope some of you, maybe most of you, are having plants in your house, and we need to water plants every day. So we also need water for watering the plants. Why do we need to water plants every day? We need to water plants every day because plants are living things and no living things can live without water. So when we water our plants, we help them to grow. Next, as I said, all living things need water. What are the categories of living things? What are the categories of living things? Who are living things? Is chair living thing? Is a table living thing? Is a sofa living thing? No, they are non-living things. So we are going to list out the living things over here. What is the first living thing? That is us. Humans. Human being is the first living thing who cannot live without water. Who is the next living thing? Anyone who can tell? Okay. Animals, our pets, our domestic animals, our wild animals. Animals are the second living thing who cannot live without water. And who is the third living thing? That is our plant kingdom, plants. So, plants are the third living thing who needs water to live. So, we can see that plants, animals and human beings, all of them need water to live. Now, why do they need water to live? What else do they do with the water? What does plants do with the water? They don't drink the water. Like for human beings, they drink the water, they wash, they bath, they brush, and what else they do? They cook, like, but what does plants do with the water? Plants also make their food with the water. Plants need food to grow. So, what is the use of water in plants? What do they do? Plants makes food. Plants makes food with the water. Okay. Now you are done with plants. Plants, they makes food with water. Now along with water, Plants, what else does plants need to make their food? Just a quick question apart from this. What else they need to make food? They need sunlight. Plants need sunlight as well to make their food. Okay, slowly now we are covering the basics. Slowly and steadily we will go to the advanced parts, and then we will do the revision of the entire chapter, and we will do the worksheets as well. Now, why does animals need water? Very easily you will be able to tell why animals need water. Obviously they drink water. Yes, so drinking water is the most important use of water. I'm repeating again and again, for human being and for animals as well. Now, animals also use water to keep themselves cool. Even animals store water in desert areas in their humps. Can anybody tell me which is the animal who stores water in their humps? Yes, correct. It's camel. Camel stores water in their hump in the desert area, because in the deserts there is very scarcity of water. Okay, the water is not available over there very easily. And from here we will come why we need to save water. Okay, that we will come later on. Now, camel is the animal who stores water in its hump, and in the desert area, when they walk for long distance on the sand during the hot and sunny weather, they sit and they drink that water stored in their hump. So animals use water to drink as well as they keeps themselves cool with that water. Fine. So now we know why water is used, in what ways water is used by human beings, by animals, and by plants. Just give me a moment. Okay, fine. Okay, so now we are here. We have done all these things. Now I am erasing the whiteboard, and I'll move on to my next part. So it's the rainwater that is actually giving us all the natural sources of water. Now, the water that we get from rain is the rainwater. The water that we get from river is the river water. The water that we get from pond is the pond water or the fresh water. And the water that we get from rain is called the rainwater. Now, so what can we say? That for natural sources of water, 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 rainwater is the main source. Rainwater is the main source for natural source of water. Okay. Now, what happened? Sometimes some of the rainwater, when there is very heavy rain and all the rivers are filled up, all the ponds are filled up, and they are actually overflowing, then what happened? Some of the rainwater, some amount of the rainwater, it also goes into the underground. What happens? The soil sips the water. The soil absorbs the water, and they gets collected below the soil. Suppose this is the ground, this is the soil. Okay, suppose this is the soil. When all the water bodies and everywhere there's too much of rain, all the water bodies, it's full of water and it's overflowing. Then among some Then see, these are all the rain water falling. Okay. Then what happens? Some of the rainwater is absorbed by the soil, and those water are absorbed by the soil. They sips into the soil and they gets collected under the ground. And what are these water called? When they are collected under the ground, they are known as groundwater. They are known as groundwater. We can pull them up with the help of pumps. Okay. With the help of hand pumps, with the help of tube wells, with the help of wells, we can pull them up. So that's not a problem. Don't think that groundwater will always remain underground. We can never get that water. No, we can definitely get that water. We can get that water up by using hand pumps, by using wells, and by using tube wells. Now tell me one thing from your concept. Like I told you, there are two sources of water. One is natural water and one is artificial water, that or the man-made water. Okay. So I'm sorry, there are two sources of water. Yes, one is natural, one is artificial. Now, when you are pumping the tube well and getting the water up to fill in your buckets using all your efforts from the underground, so what kind of a source it can be? Remember, you are using your effort to pump the tube well and get the water filled into your bucket. So what kind of water it can be? Yes, absolutely correct. It's the artificial source of water, because we are artificially pumping the water up and taking it in our buckets or whatever utensils we feel like, or to whatever use we can make. So this is the artificial water source. So clear? Natural sources are ponds, rivers, lakes, ice, glaciers, groundwater. They are all natural sources of water. And as soon as you are pumping yourself the groundwater with your effort, it is becoming artificial source of water. Isn't it interesting? The same water source is somewhere natural, somewhere artificial. And which is the most important source of water? That is the rainwater in case of natural. So, in another way we can say natural water source is help us in building the artificial water source as well. Now tell me one thing. Do you all know that ice on the mountains, the ice that forms on the mountains, are actually a very important source of water? Do you all know that? Okay, let me tell you, the ice that is formed on the water, actually it will cover a bit advanced, where you will be able to understand it more clearly if I tell you the states of water. But let me confine right now, if I'm because I'm covering the basics. So just keep it in mind that ice on mountains is another important source of water. In the mountains, high up in the mountains, these are the mountains. Ice is formed over here on the mountains. Snow, ice. I'm sure you all have gone to Kashmir or Sikkim and have seen ice over there. Snow over there, snowfall. Okay. So those ice are also another important source of water. Okay. When these ice melts, what happens? When these ice melts, they convert into water. And again, when the water melts further, what happens? It converts into water vapor. So this is a part of your advanced curriculum, states of matter. Change of states of matter. How change of, let me cover it over here. Change of states of matter. Okay. What happens? What we do? We take a piece of ice and we heat that ice. The heat can be sunlight, normal heating. Okay, in this case, let me tell you sunlight. Suppose it's get heated, okay? So what happens? It forms water, okay? And again, due to the sunny weather, if again the water is becoming hot or again it's getting heated, it becomes water vapor, which is it becomes water vapor. Now what is this ice? You all know this is a solid. Now when it gets heated, it becomes water. What is water? It's liquid. It's liquid. What is water? It's liquid. Again, when it's getting heated, what it's becoming? Water vapor. What is that? Can we see water vapor? Yes, we can see the vapor rising. When you are making or your mother is making tea and she has set the water in a pan for boiling. Have you seen after some time there are vapors that is coming out? That is the water vapor, which is the gaseous form. So, see, we have learned so many things over here. This is the change of, this can be said as the change of state of matter. So, ice is the solid state, water is the liquid state, and water vapor is the gaseous state. Okay? All good? Water vapor is the gaseous state. Okay, now let me explain a little more to you all. Now, just a moment. So we have understand the gaseous state as well. Let me tell you one more thing over here. That is very interesting. Now when you heat the ice, you got water. And when you heat the water further, you got water vapor. Now this is the heating process. It happens during the hot weather, right? Now, during the summer. Now, what happens during winter? In winter, just the opposite thing happens. Sorry, it will be water vapor. In winter, just the opposite things happens. What happens in winter? If we cool, let's now cool. If we cool this water vapor, what we will get? We will get water droplets. That means we will get water. Again, when we cool the water, what will we get? We will get ice. So, what happens? When during summer, you want to cool in an artificial way, you want to cool water, you want to have ice, cool water, or you want to have cool drinks with some ice, what do? What we do is that we keep the water in our ice tray to freeze into ice. So what do we see? That during hot water, during hot weather, with the heat, the water ice change to water vapor. That means it's changing its state. And similarly during winter, if we cool the water vapor, it's coming to water droplets. For further cooling, it's coming to ice. So this is a reversible process. This is a reversible process that happens naturally in our atmosphere. And from here, we can also explain the concept of evaporation and condensation. Okay. So we have learned so many things in today's chapter. We have done the states of matter. That is a very big thing for grade 2. Especially 2, 3 and 4 is fine. They have some further concepts of evaporation and condensation and all. So this is the change of state of matter. When we heat, ice changes into water. When we again heat further, it changes into water vapor. And this is a reversible process. That means the process can be reversed. If we can convert ice to water vapor, then similarly by cooling, we will be able to convert water vapor to ice as well. Okay. So what was that? So we again get back to the ice in the mountains. We will go back to the ice in the mountains as well. Okay. So we are back here. Ice on the mountains was an important source of water. When the ice melts, it becomes water. It flows down as streams and falls into rivers, that making rivers a natural source of water. Great. Now, water in food items. How does it sound? You people are thinking, oh my god, even food contains water. Yes, definitely food contains water. Food definitely contains water. You know, there are many fruits and vegetables. Actually, they contain water. How I will tell you. Vegetables like cucumber, watermelon. Sorry. Cucumber can be both considered as vegetable and fruit. So let me consider the fruits first. Cucumber, watermelon, oranges, strawberries, sweet lime. They all contain water. So what happens when you, just a moment. Even pomegranate also contain water. You know, any fruits, which fruit don't contain water? Banana don't contain water. Okay. So cucumber, watermelon, oranges, strawberries, sweet lime, they contain a lot of water. That is why during the very sunny and heated and weather, often your mama and papa ask you to have more water fruits, so that the water content of our body keeps are good, and it remains the water content of in our body, it's good, and you stay hydrated. And what about the vegetables? And what about the vegetables? Which vegetables have water content more? Radish. Radish have water. Tomatoes. How many of you like tomatoes? I like tomato a lot. I love it in salads. Tomatoes. Bottle gourd. They all contains a lot of water, So we should consume them in summer to keep ourselves hydrated. Okay. From here, we are coming into a very important topic. That is water pollution. This is a very important topic nowadays. Pollution is, I hope you all of you know what is pollution. What is pollution in one word? When anything becomes dirty, becomes infected, carries germs, is not good for our health. It can make our health sick. We can fall sick by consuming it or by inhaling it. That is known as pollution. There is a very important thing in pollution. Pollutant. Remember this. Pollutant. What is a pollutant? The germs, the dirts which make us sick, the bacterias are known as the pollutant. Okay, these are the pollutant, and these causing whatever they are causing into the water, they are making the water dirty, they are making the water unsafe to drink. That is known as pollution. So now you got a very maybe a clear idea, I may say, about pollutant and pollution. Now let's go to water pollution. What is water pollution? What do you think is water pollution? Now when I've explained you about the pollutants, very easily, if you know water pollutants, very easily you will be able to tell me how water gets polluted. It's very easy. Water gets polluted when it becomes dirty, when it becomes unhealthy to drink, when by drinking we may fall sick, then we can say the water is being polluted, and this whole phenomenon is known as water pollution. Okay, so this is a cyclic process. I must say this is a cyclic process. Now what happens? This is a water body. These are all germs, bacteria, dirt inside this. This is the water, and inside the water, this is a very dirty water. So what does dirty water contains? It contains germs, it contains bacteria, and it contains dirt. So what are these? I told you these are pollutants. These are pollutants. What they are doing? They are polluting. They are polluting the water. And what is this total process of polluting the water with the help of pollutants called? Water pollution. So water pollution is just a phenomenon where the pollutants pollute the water, and what happens? The water gets polluted and water pollution is created. Okay, easy to understand. Okay, now where are these waste materials, these germs, these bacteria? From where are they coming? They cannot come all of a sudden, right? What are from where they are coming? What we do is we often go and we throw the waste materials. We throw the waste materials from home. and from factories to the water. So from here we get the source of pollutants. Now you may be thinking, where does the germs and the dirts they come into the water? Yes, the source of the pollutants is the waste materials from the home and from the factories that we throw into the water. And this causes the water pollution. What does it more do? Does it only makes us unhealthy? No. Who lives inside the waters? Who lives inside the waters? What do you think, children? Who lives inside the waters? Our plants, aquatic plants. Aquatic plants. Aquatic animals. They all live inside the water. So, our fishes, turtles, they all live inside the water. And what happened? Due to this water pollution, all of them die. All of them die. So, we should never throw any waste materials into the ponds or rivers or any water body, because it gives birth to the germs and bacteria, and what happens? They pollute the water, they kill the aquatic plants and aquatic animals, and in turn water pollution is caused. So to prevent water pollution, we should never throw waste materials from our homes and from our factories into the water bodies. Fine? Okay. Next we comes to, and always remember one thing, what will happen if you consume these waters without purifying them? What happens? We will fall sick. We will fall severely sick. Okay? So, be very careful from now onwards. You should always consume clean water. Now, what is the main focus for clean drinking water? What is the main focus for clean drinking water? The main focus for clean drinking water is a very purified water that does not contain any germs, any bacteria, any viruses, and by drinking that we will not fall sick. Actually, from purified water, we get nutrients that are very helpful for our body to nourish. So that's why most of the nutritionists are now recommending to drink water from copper vessel. We will come to all of that later. That is not a part of your curriculum, but we can go with it for the extra amount of knowledge. Okay. Now what happens? Water from lakes, rivers, ponds and wells, they are not always very clean and enough clean to drink. They may contain germs, and so what happens? To drinking of those water will definitely make us fall sick. So we'll have to kill those germs, and we'll have to make the water clean before we eat it. Before we drink it. Sorry. So first, how will we do it? We will purify the water. We will purify the water before drinking. And how can we purify the water? How can we remove the impurities? By a process called filtration. By filtering the wastewater, we can actually purify the water. So I am not explaining the process of filtration over here in detail. That I'll do in some other video of mine. The process of filtration. For the very basic process of filtration, just know out of your curiosity, I would like to tell, there's a filter paper, and it's just like a net which we use for tea staining. It's like a net, the filter paper. When we pour the water into the filter paper, what happens? The clean water, it goes down, and the impurities, which is known as the filtrate, it just stays on the filter paper. And this is the very basic process of filtration. Just for your curiosity, I've told you. Now always remember, we should always cover our drinking water. We should never store drinking water in any dirty containers. Okay. And whenever we are handling the drinking water, we should wash our hands properly, and then only we should handle the water. And now we will just cover another topic today, and then I will end my video, because rest of the topics I'll be handling in my next video as well. So because water is a long chapter, I'm covering class 2, 3 and 4 as well, but still I've started with the basics. So it's not possible for me to cover the entire water chapter in just one video. So I'll stop after explaining saving water and its necessity. And then I will provide the worksheet at the end of the part 2 video. This is the part 1 video. This is the part 1 video. In the part 2 video, after I complete the part 2 video, I will discuss all the question and answers, and then I will give the worksheets as well. Now, as I said to you from the very beginning of the chapter, you must be bored by listening to all these things till now, that water is very useful for us, and we should not waste water. We should never waste water. A big no to waste water. What we should do? We should save water. Now, how can we not waste water? We should not throw garbage. We should not throw garbage or waste materials. Waste materials into our water, because it creates water pollution. It makes the water dirty. And what happens? You will not be able to drink that water. So it's a wastage of water, right? It's not a saving of water. So do not throw the garbage into the sources of water. Number 2 is water. You should always collect rainwater. Okay, we should always collect rainwater. How can we collect rainwater? We can collect rainwater in the overhead tanks, right? We can collect rainwater. We can collect rainwater in the overhead tanks on our terrace. Okay. Next is number 3. What we can do? Water is used for cleaning fruits and vegetables. Now what happens? We clean the fruit. We clean the fruit and vegetable. Just a moment. We clean fruit and vegetables. After cleaning the fruits and vegetables, what we can do? We can reuse that water. How can we reuse that water? We can reuse that water for watering our plants. We can reuse that water for watering our plants. Okay? So, in this way, we can save and reuse water. Next is, do not leave any tap open. Do not leave any tap open, because it causes a huge waste of water nowadays. While you are bathing or you are brushing your teeth, do not leave your tap open. Always fill the bucket while you are bathing, or fill the glass with water from the tap while you are brushing your teeth, and then after you finish, then you need to put on the tap and take the water. Same goes with cleaning of utensils and washing of clothes, and while you are gardening, you are planting, watering the plants. all the things goes into opening of tap. Never a big no. This is a major reason for wastage of water. Next is, as I told you, you can always use buckets, fill up the water, store the water, and then you can use later on instead of using directly from the tap water. This saves a lot of water. And always close the tap after you use when you are not at home. Always check before you leave your houses that all the waters have all the taps have been closed, the doors and windows have been shut, you lock the main door properly, all the switches have been switched off, no electricity switch is on. Okay, so these are the very common things about wastage of water. And any leaking tap, this is also very important. And we are actually, what we do is, when we have a leaking tap in our home, what we do is that, okay, the tap is leaking, only a small amount of water is leaking, we'll call the plumber some days after. No, because this small amount of water is actually causing a big wastage. So if there's a leaking tap in your house, just call the plumber and fix it off. So today we have learned a lot in this. We will just stop here today. We have other topics also in water left to cover. So I will just tell you what I'm going to cover in water in the next video as well. Just give me a moment. Okay. Next day we will cover, today I have told you about the states of change of states of matter, how water changed to water vapor and back water vapor from water. Next day I will just give a quick revision of this because this is a new concept for all of you, and I'll also cover the evaporation, condensation and freezing. These are just another names of the change of state of matter. Okay, so we have covered everything over here. So next day we will be covering the evaporation and the condensation as well. And after that we will be covering the water cycle, just a brief idea about that. And next day I'll discuss all the question and answers, and I'll give you the worksheets. Okay. So any problems and any questions that you have regarding today's session, kindly you have my number, so you post it over there. You can contact me directly. uh, I will provide my number as well as my email address, and so we can go ahead with that. Okay, thank you. I hope everybody enjoyed today's class. We have actually learned a lot today, okay, about the water. And tomorrow, and in the next video I'll be covering the rest of the chapters. Thank you. I'll provide the worksheet as well. Thank you.